Fish in a Tree by Linda Mullally Hunt. Chapter 44. Tales of a Sixth Grade Something. Travis drives me to school because the project I did for our book report is too hard to take on the bus. I've always used my art for projects at school, but this is a three-dimensional scene on a piece of wood. A scene from Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, the book that Mr. Daniels gave me to read. "What's gotten into you?" Travis asks. "Since when do you smile like that on a Monday morning?" I'm going to school feeling proud for once, so I just sit there and continue to smile. "Hey," he says, hitting me on the side of the leg. "I'm happy to see you so happy about school, Al." He laughs a bit. To be honest, I wouldn't mind feeling some of that. When I get to class, lots of kids surround me. I guess it's because the project is so big. Shay is the first to come over. She looks at the kitchen scene I've made mostly of paper, including a working light over the sink that Travis helped me make. "How did you do that?" Shay asks, pointing at the light lit over the sink. "There's a battery underneath." She looks disgusted. "And you made that?" Oliver comes over and grabs for the light. "Cool." Before I can move, he knocks the wire, which makes the light go off. Shay begins. "Oliver, you're such a—" "Leave him alone," I interrupt. "If I don't care, you shouldn't." Shay and Oliver are both wide-eyed, but for different reasons. Oliver smiles a little. "It's okay, Oliver. I'll fix it." Shay is squinty-eyed for a bit and then laughs in a way that's louder than normal. She's pointing at my project. "I read that book like 4 years ago, and there aren't any soldiers in it," she says, pointing at a picture hanging on the wall of the room I made. Max comes over. "What's up?" "She has a picture in here that has nothing to do with the book." "Book report, Allie. Should be about the book." "Well," I say, feeling a little warm all of a sudden. "Most houses have art on the walls, so I figured I'd decorate the room and drew a picture of my dad in his uniform." "Wait," Max brightens. "Your dad's in the army?" "Yeah." "That's cool. What does he do?" "He's a captain with the tank division." "Your father drives tanks? Seriously? That's awesome." I look up. "Thanks." He holds up his fist to fist bump me. And as he walks away, he tells the other guys about my dad. From the look on Shay's face, she can tell that her insult backfired on her. Then Mr. Daniels comes over. He's wearing a tie with books on it. "Wow, Allie, that is amazing." He leans forward and drops his voice. "I'm really proud of you." My response is stuck in my throat. I watch a series of movies in my head, trying to see a time when a teacher has said this to me. There isn't one. "Allie?" he says. Still, I can't speak. Usually, when I find myself unable to speak, it's because I'm humiliated. I like this feeling a lot more. Chapter 45. My brother's question. I'm working on pictures of cupcakes that talk for an ad campaign for Keisha's business. She asked me to help her. It feels great to have someone ask me for help. As I draw, I think about my sketchbook and how I love it, but don't draw in it as much anymore. It used to be the only thing that made me happy. Now I have other things too. I hear Travis chewing gum in the doorway before I see him. Without looking up, I say, "Mom told you to stop chewing gum like a goat. The whole room is not supposed to hear you." He goes silent. Weird. I finish erasing a line and look over at him. He looks kind of stiff, hands stuffed in his pockets. And then he takes one hand out and brushes his chin with his fist. "Travis, what's wrong?" "I just wanted to ask you a question." "You want to borrow money or something?" He does that half smile of his and shakes his head, but I can see the seriousness. "You can ask me anything you want, Travis. What is it?" He comes over and sits on the side of the bed. That teacher of yours, Mr. Daniels, what does he do after school with you? You mean chess? He shakes his head. No, the reading. What does he do? I mean, do you just sound out words and stuff? I put down my pencil. Well, we talk about words, but it's not the same as other teachers. Like, we never use paper, ever. He has me write letters in blue or pink sand or sometimes shaving cream. Really? So you can read now? Well, not yet, but it's getting easier. It can be like running up the side of a building sometimes. I get so tired, but I am doing better. So it helps? What he does? Yeah. It's more fun than learning the old way. Sometimes it's boring because he'll do a list of words that have some of the same letters in them, like light and might and night. He writes the letters that repeat in every word in red and the rest in black. And then he makes the words into pictures so I can remember them better. I flip my paper over. Here, I'll show you. And I write sun with all these little lines around it pointing outward to look like the sun. And it really helps you remember? Yep. And he also has these little sheets of plastic that I can see through but are different colors. He puts those over pages and it makes the headaches better. It's like turning the brightness down on a computer. It's weird. No more headaches from reading? Really? Well, I still get them, but they're not nearly as bad. Like a little stick hitting my head compared to a baseball bat. Travis smiles, then stands up. Well, I'm glad he's helping you. And I'm glad you have Keisha and Albert, Squirt. You're doing great. You're doing great too, Travis. Not long before you open up Nickerson's Restoration, right? He nods once and turns to leave. He doesn't talk about the neon sign he'll have or the big rolling tool cases or anything. I miss hearing his mouth running like a motor about all his plans. Travis? He turns. Yeah? I could try to help you. Nah, he says, brushing his chin with his knuckles. I don't need you to do that. I was just wondering.